Exodus chapter 21, verses 1 to 36. I am reading from the New Revised Standard Version, the Green Bible. Verse 1. These are the ordinances that you shall set before them. Verse 2. When you buy a male Hebrew slave, he shall serve 6 years, but in the seventh he shall go out a free person without debt. Verse 3. If he comes in a single, and he shall go out single. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. Verse 4. His master gives him a wife, and she bears him sons or daughters. The wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out alone. Verse 5. But if the slave declares, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out a free person. Verse 6. Then his master shall bring him before God. He shall be brought to the door or the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him for life. Verse 7. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who designated her for himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to a foreign people, since he has dealt unfairly with her. Verse 9. If he designates her for his son, he shall deal with her as with a daughter. Verse 10. If he takes another wife himself, he shall not diminish the food, clothing, or marital rights of the first wife. Verse 11. And if he did not, and if he does not do these three things for her, she shall go out without debt, without payment of money. Verse 12. Whoever strikes a person mortally shall be put to death. Verse 13. If it was not premeditated, but came about by an act of God, then I will appoint for you a place to which the killer may flee. Verse 14. But if someone willfully attacks and kills another by treachery, you shall take the killer from my altar for execution. Verse 15. Whoever strikes a father or mother shall be put to death. Verse 16. Whoever kidnaps a person, whether that person has been sold or still held in possession, shall be put to death. Verse 17. Whoever curses father or mother shall be put to death. Verse 18. When individual quarrel and one strikes the other with a stone or fist, so that the injured party, though not dead, is confined to bed. Verse 19. But recovers and walks around outside with the help of a staff, then the assailant shall be free of liability, except to pay for the loss of time and to arrange to full recovery. Verse 20. When a slave owner strikes a male or female slave with a rod, and a slave dies immediately, the owner shall be punished. Verse 21. But if the slave survives a day or two, there is no punishment, for the slave is the owner's property. Verse 22. When people are fighting, injure a pregnant woman so that there is a miscarriage, and yet no further harm follows, the one responsible shall be fined that what the woman's husband demands, paying as much as the judges determine. Verse 23. If any harm follows, then you shall give life for life. Verse 24. Eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Verse 25. Burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. Verse 26. When a slave owner strikes the eye of a male or female slave, destroying it, the owner shall let the slave go, a free person, to compensate for the eye. Verse 27. If the owner knocks out a tooth of a male-female slave, the slave shall be let go, a free person, to compensate for the tooth. Verse 28. When an ox gores a man or a woman to death, the ox shall be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall not be liable. Verse 29. If the ox has been accustomed to gore in the past, and its owner has been warned but has not restrained it, and it kills a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner also shall be put to death. Verse 30. If a ransom is imposed on the owner, then the owner shall be paid whatever is imposed for the redemption of the victim's life. Verse 31. If it gores a boy or a girl, the owner shall be dealt with according to this same rule. Verse 32. If the ox gores a male or female slave, the owner shall pay to the slave owner 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. Verse 33, if someone leaves a pit open or digs a pit and does not cover it, an ox or a donkey falls into. Verse 34, the owner of the pit shall make restitution, giving money to its owner, but keeping the dead animal. Verse 35, if someone's ox hurts the ox of another, so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the price of it, and the dead animal they shall also divide. Verse 36, but if it was known that the ox was accustomed to gore in the past, and its owner has not restrained it, the owner shall restore ox for ox, but keep the dead animal. Exodus chapter 21, verses 1 to 36. I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version.